Hello, hello, hello. I am Sylvia Hayes, and welcome to Good News at Primetime. Today, we're talking about tornadoes. As you know, this is tornado season. Yeah, we have tornado season, we have hurricane season, and this is tornado season. And I guess some of you can see already there are tornadoes out there already blooming, destroying. So we're going to talk about tornadoes today. And this is also Women History Month. And we have to uplift our women and remember them and all the things that they have done for this world, all the accomplishments they have made, even just being a mother. You know, women make history just being moms. You know, first time mama, they just moms. You know, women make history. And a lot of times they're not given the credit for the things that they do. Even when men succeed, a lot of times it's women behind them, you know, and they're not given credit. Because sometimes if a woman, she might work real hard to put her husband to in school, give him a good education so he can be the man of the house, you know, or she may cook dinner, take the kids away when he has a project at home he got to work on, keep it quiet for him, cook his dinner and have it ready so all he has to do is eat and work. You know, women are behind everything. You may not know it, but women are. And this is Women History Month. So we're going to celebrate women. And because women are behind everything, a lot of men are dominating. And so some women feel that they're not good enough to do things, or sometimes men make them feel low. Okay. So my book, good news, not good news, Power Thoughts. I just got to raise it up here. Power Thoughts. Okay. This is for everybody, of course, but there's one thing in here I want to read. Never let anyone dictate to you how you should feel about yourself. That is one of my power thoughts in the book. Never let anyone dictate to you how you should feel about yourself. Because a lot of times they say, you can't do it. You're a woman. Even my dad said, when I wanted a motorcycle, you're a girl. And like, girls can't have motorcycles, you know? So if you want to do it, you can do it. Okay. So never let anyone dictate to you how you can feel, how you should feel about yourself, or what you can and can't do, because you are a girl. Okay. If it's something you want to do it. Okay. Don't let them say you're a girl. Okay. So that's it for the women thing. Again, it is a Women History Month. And so we're going to be celebrated. Also, we're having a Women History trivia this Saturday at 8 o'clock. So you got to stay tuned to that Women History trivia, my team against my co-host team. Okay. So we're going to see who know the most history about women. So I'm going to bring on my co-host here, Reggie Drummer. Reggie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Outstanding. I can't complain. Glad to be here. That's some good news. Shout out to all the women, Women History Month. Definitely there's a lot of contributions that women continue to make, and I don't think we would be in a position we're in without the contributions of women. You know, not just life bringing us here, but maintaining uh, the higher caliber of thought. Women tend to have a higher thought pattern on a lot of different things. I don't think we'd be in as many wars and conflicts if we had more women empowered. So my thumbs up and kudos to women. Uh, and looking at this tornado season, you know, this is tornado season. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and just today alone, there were over 40 tornadoes around the United States, all on the lower half from Texas, Oklahoma, Mississippi, and Alabama, and it's coming this way. And we have to prepare ourselves uh, accordingly. And unlike a lot of things, a tornado can come out of nowhere like that.
Exactly.
You know, they say a tornado. This is what Webster's definition of a tornado. A tornado is a violently rotating column of air extending from the base of a thunderstorm down to the ground. So they can appear in a thunderstorm. You know, unlike a hurricane, you might have a little bit of warning. You know, they say
Mm-hmm.
tropical storm Becky is out on the coast, and we got about 3 to 5 days to get ready. But a tornado is different because different things can cause that cloud, that tunnel to form. And you know, so and you know, and we'll talk a little bit about the difference between a tornado watch and a tornado warning. But I also encourage everybody to go to the readygeorgia.gov, and that way you can get yourself in preparation mode. They'll tell you a lot of things that you should have in preparation for storms like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of people they don't know what to do if a tornado come. Of course, you know the kids at school when the tornado come, they have tornado warnings and stuff like that. They go in the hallway, put their heads down, you know, get in the crotch position, put their hand over their head. But what if you're at home? What do you do? That's what a lot of people don't think about, and they don't have plans, you know, for a tornado if they're at home. So this is one of the things I want to challenge every family to talk to everybody in your family about what to do if a tornado should hit. A lot
Wow.
of people might get under the bed, get in the closet, or whatever, you know, but you have to be prepared because you don't want one member one spot and another one somewhere else. And then y'all panicking trying to find each other. You want to be together and you want to be in a safe zone. One of the places they said is to be, you know, you could get in the bathtub. Okay. A bathtub would be a safe place simply because bathtub is anchored in the ground. Okay, so that would be a safer place to be. But if that bathtub is on the outside wall and if there's windows in there, you don't want to be there because you want to stay away from the windows. You want to be in the middle of the house, wherever you are, away from the glass and the doors. So when the breeze come through, you won't get hit. And if you can't do that, you know, just get in the hallway. You know, get in the hallway. Me, I already planned it. I'm gonna get in the
Okay.
hallway and go to get the twin mattress off the bed and cover up in the hallway.
Okay.
That's
Well,
my plan. You know,
uh, you
because
know,
you know, the
it,
bathroom, my bathroom got a window in it, and it's on the outside, and there are trees there too. So you don't
okay.
want to be close to the trees either.
And you bring up, you know, I've actually survived a tornado, but I wanted to put this out real quick. knowing the difference between a tornado watch and a tornado warning. A tornado watch, that's a tornadoes are possible in and near the watch area. Tornado watch, they'll put it out, watch for the tornado. Just like now we got tornado watches. Uh,
Mhm.
we have to review and discuss emergency plans, like you said, check supplies and whatever safe room you have. Be ready to act quickly if a warning is issued or you suspect a tornado is approaching. Acting early helps to save lives. Now that's doing a tornado watch. Now a tornado warning, a tornado has been sighted or indicated by weather radar. Tornado warnings indicate imminent danger to life and property. Go immediately. Don't pass go. Underground to a basement. If you got a basement, a storm cellar, or an interior room, a closet, a hallway, or a bathroom.
Mhm.
People when they come, you got to get familiar with the different sounds. Small towns, believe it or not, have a better like a siren or something like that goes off, and the people know it's a tornado. But you in a big city, it's different. I was in Doraville when the tornado came through Doraville, and I got an alert on my phone, and this happened within maybe 10 minutes. By the time I got the alert, which said a tornado warning for, by that time it was DeKalb County and Fulton County. Well, I was fortunate because we had a trailer that when I saw it coming, I ran in the trailer, and I was blessed because the wind blew the door closed. Now, if the wind had not blown the door closed, it probably would have, the air would have got in the trailer. Well, the tornado itself lasted less than 60 seconds. I'm talking about 45 seconds to like a minute, but it felt like an hour. And when I came out, signs were everywhere. Trees had blown down, and this isn't a commercial area. The homes, trees were everywhere. There was a what do those bounce things that kids have?
Mhm.
It blew out of somebody's yard all the way to where I was at, and billboards, signs. A tornado can blow things around. It can away. So we have to really respect. You got to respect everything, but a tornado deserves a lot of. When you get that warning, and if you're in a trailer park, I've seen people that have, they said, me and Mama rode the storm out. We stayed in the trailer, but that is not advisable.
Nope, not
The
at
trailer
all.
park becomes a mobile home real quick, airborne. And when you look at the ideal situation would be for you to have a shelter, some type of shelter you could go to. But for everybody that's got a basement in their home, that's ideal, okay? Because the
Yeah.
basement is usually a couple feet below ground, but you got to make sure your basement is prepped for something like a tornado. This is a good time to clean them out, get those spider webs out and all this type stuff, and make sure ain't no critters down in your basement. So if you got to run down in your basement, you ain't got to deal with what's down there. Leaks, and people have all kind of stuff down in their basement. But this is a good time to check your area, and like you said, to do drills. Now, if you are by yourself, your survival capabilities might be pretty good. You can find a bathtub, hop in it. And what the bathtub does, Now, some of these bathtubs, these plastic tubs, they ain't the one. You're gonna be airborne. You're gonna be like a kite. But some of the older homes that's got these porcelain tubs that are, and you put yourself in a position so if debris falls down on top of you, you'll be a little bit protected. And even if you're in your car, because sometimes you might not be in your house. You might be at a workspace, avoid windows, avoid a whole lot of things like that. Windows openings and things like that. You have to treat a tornado like you in an airplane when the air comes in. Because everything.
A lot. I've been in 3 tornadoes.
Okay.
The first tornado I was in, I was in a trailer. My sister and I was in a trailer. We were at school. We had just gone to bed, and then 20 minutes later, a tornado came through and woke us up. And the trailer was just rocking. But it didn't take us. But, the room we were in, you couldn't tell a tornado hit. But when you opened the bedroom door, you saw the sky.
Wow.
And then the girls on the other end, she was over there with her baby. She was on the top bunk and her baby was on the bottom bunk. And she heard that the ceiling cracking. She got out and got under the bunk with her baby. And time she got under there, the ceiling crushed down on her on the bed. And there was another trailer next to us, totally disappeared. And then the lady down the street, her house totally disappeared. And they found her up in a tree with a tornado took her and put her in a tree. I was in another tornado. I've been in 3. Another tornado I was in, we were at Callaway Gardens on the outside. Didn't know it. Didn't know the tornado. All I know, all of a sudden the wind started blowing and it was raining real hard. And so we got under the picnic tables and it was horrible. But after it was over, we got out and there was damage. You didn't see the tornado. We didn't see it, but it damaged the cars out there and tore down some limbs, put out the electricity and everything. So it was a lot of damage. And another time I was at work. I was at work and the tornado came. When I saw it hailing, that is one of the signs for tornadoes, by the way. When it started hailing, especially hailing real hard and big balls of hail, that's a warning right there that could be a tornado, especially with all the other stuff that's going on. So I was looking, I saw the hail and I'm going, okay, this is tornado warning. I was looking for a place, but before we could get hit, it hit. I didn't see it again, but it tore the roof off of one of the storage rooms at my job, and the water came through on the floor out there so we could see the water coming through. Again, cars outside were damaged, but I was saved all 3 times. Didn't get struck a lick. But I thank God for that.
Oh yeah.
But
definitely...
you have to know the warning signs. Yeah. You have to know if it's raining and stuff, cloudy. If you see these clouds, just like the other day when we were up at the studio, man, those clouds, they were so big and they were just rolling. I'm going, oh my God, that's tornado. Because they're like 2 different colors, the big old clouds. It was rolling. Then you got the other clouds under there, and it was coming towards us. And then all of a sudden, it went around to where we were. But it was tornado. I was waiting for that hail to start. So what you have to do when a tornado comes, you do have to get in a safe zone. That is so important. Don't stand there looking at the weather, at the tornado. Because some people would do that. And do not try to outrun the tornado. Okay. Some people will get in their car and start trying to outrun. You cannot outrun a tornado. No. So remember that. And do not go under bridges. Some people think it's safe to go on the bridge. You do not go on the bridge. That is dangerous too. If you're on the road, the best thing to do is find a ditch to get in. You might get wet, but at least you'll be safe. You
Right.
know, because that tornado will pick that car up and twirl it around and might throw you out of it. Ain't no telling where you might end up.
Right. Well, one of the things they do tell you, if you're in a car, uh, put your seatbelt on.
Yeah.
Definitely. That way, if you get thrown around, at least that car might provide you some degree of safety. And then hold your head down as low as you can. And if you got your car prepped, a blanket. It's always good to have a blanket because if you had glass, break it. Now you got safety glass in the car, so it's not going to be sharp glass. But what usually happens when that wind hits that glass and it shatters it, it's going to get inside the car, and then it's just like a lot of sand hitting you at one time. But there's a couple things to pay attention to when you hear it. When you see dark greenish clouds, and that's caused by the hail. You got to be careful. Wall clouds. When you see clouds of debris, large hail, a funnel cloud, a visible rotating, extending from the upper clouds, and you hear like a roaring noise. They say it sounds like a freight train. Now, when I saw the tornado, it did sound like a train. It was just like a big thing of wind. Like I said, they very short. Most of the time, they last about a minute, less than a minute, but they do so much damage. They say tornado is like God's finger, just moving around, just moving stuff. And it happens so fast and so violently. That's what moves stuff and throws cars, trucks, buildings. There's been debris found as far in a tornado path 5, 10, 15 miles away. So that just shows you how violent it is. And anything that's caught in the path. And then I've seen neighborhoods, that's why they call it like a fingerprint, where a tornado went through and took out 4 houses. Well, took out 4 houses in a subdivision and left 20 other houses untouched. See, because that little, what's that commercial, Mr. Clean, the tornado, that funnel down at the bottom is so narrow. It's like it can come down a street and not touch nothing because because it happens so quick. But if you get the wider the base is down at the bottom, it can do a lot of damage.
Yep, it can. And another thing, you don't want to be running to a tent or a
Ooh,
shed or storage
ooh,
room.
no,
When one comes. So, like if you're out camping, okay, and you have a tent set up, don't go and get in that tent and call yourself hiding.
no,
Try to find a ditch to get in, if at all possible. The
yeah,
lowest possible ground you can find to get in. So, because that tent ain't gonna do nothing, gonna pick up and be gone. And if you're
yeah,
in it, if it have a floor, you're gonna be gone with it. So
yeah,
you don't
and
want that to happen. You don't want to get in the storage room. Now I know a lot of people don't have basements, but
mm-hmm,
the you might have like 2 or 3 story houses. Get to the lowest floor. Don't be on the top. Get to the lowest floor that you can get to. And
right.
now they have companies who actually build these little storm shelters you can get in.
Oh yeah, yeah,
There's one called Ground Zero Shelter. They'll put it in the ground for you so you can go there and hide during a tornado. That was one of the things I wanted in my house. I wanted a basement so I can hide from the tornadoes. Not that I got one, but that's what I wanted. But
mm,
it's very important to be down low. So don't be up in the bedroom, upstairs, anywhere. Go down as low as possible, okay, and hide. Hide. Put something heavy over you if you're around trees, and that's another thing. Trees, they serve twofold. One, trees can block the wind, especially if you're in hurricane season. It can block
Hmm.
the wind to keep from damaging your house, but it can also damage your house if the trees are weak. And like
Oh yeah.
tornadoes can cause the trees to damage your house too. So you have to play it by ear which way you want to go with those trees.
Yeah.
Cause I know in my house the trees keep my soil from eroding, and I don't want to get rid of them. So
Right.
trees do play an important part in
Right.
the ecosystem. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
they
well,
play an important part, but you don't want to be overwhelming where it damages your roof or cause any other damage.
yeah. Well, and just putting this out too, we encourage everybody to download any emergency app. Here in the state of Georgia, you got readygeorgia.gov, got a couple others. You can get alerts, especially now. Well, with the trees, I was in that's lower I think that lower Georgia. Now, just show you how a tornado can behave. There's a guy that had a bunch of trees in his yard, and
Uh
on one
huh.
guy had all the trees cut down. Now you would think that the guy with all the trees, he had some rotten trees, some old trees, and when a tornado came through, none of his trees moved,
Mm.
but his neighbor's house was hit by a tree that came from out of nowhere.
Oh, really?
Because at first his neighbor was going to sue him, but the tree was so big when the insurance company saw that no trees in the other guy's yard were uprooted, this tree came from somewhere else. They don't know where that
Mm.
tree came from. Probably came out of the woods and knocked his house down. So,
Mm.
but it is word to the wise. If you got damaged trees, diseased cheap trees, it's a good time to pay attention, get them cut up, and that type stuff. And you know what? Trees acted as a protector for that other guy because he had those tall pines, and
Uh
I guess
huh.
that blocked anything from coming to his house. Now his neighbor, and both of them were brick homes. But his neighbor's house, the tree came through there, and they were blessed that they were not there.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
that just shows you how violent a tornado is. But we have to pay attention, and just like prepping for anything, you have to have some things in play because power lines they're gonna come down. So
Yeah.
if you got animals, young kids, you want to avoid power lines, okay? Because they still live. Consider any power line live,
Yeah.
and it's not like in the movies where you see them popping, doing all that. A power line can still be live and it's not moving around or nothing. So you definitely want to be cautious of that in your neighborhood. Don't don't take a chance. You want to a lot of times in a tornado, like I said, when a warning comes, or you got to be prepared. If you got on long, clothings, you got blankets, because when debris comes, you would rather not have your skin exposed because anything could come out. It's just like shrapnel, flying pieces, a piece of a storage house cut a lady in half.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was like a knife because it's moving at 100 something miles an hour in that air,
Yeah.
it's spinning like that, and it cut her, sliced her like a Jinsu knife.
Yeah. The force of it can do some
Oh yeah,
serious
yeah.
damage.
So
Yeah. And
tornadoes
and the
nothing to
other
play
thing
with.
is, you want to be prepared. If you know the bad weather's coming, make sure your phones are charged up. Okay,
Yeah,
that is so important. Make sure your phones are charged just in case you do lose power. you will have an opportunity to make a phone call, and always keep that emergency list of where and check on people that you know they've been in a tornado or in bad weather. Check on them to see if they're okay, and have your phone available so they can check on you to make sure you are okay. And
Right.
also have that flashlight available. You know, you want your flashlights in case of power to go out, or candles, if necessary. Have the radio so you can keep informed of what's going on. And if you have medicine, make sure you have your medicine in a certain spot so you can get it real quick. Okay, make sure and do that first aid kit. Okay, have a first aid kit readily available, and everybody know where it is just in case something do happen and you need that first aid kit. So those things, and batteries. Okay, make sure you have plenty of batteries for those flashlights. Okay, so having that emergency kit is important. Knowing where to go is important. If everybody is in the house, if everybody was in the house and you one part of the house and somebody's in another part, if a tornado is coming, make plans to meet in a central location so you can all be together. Okay, because you don't want somebody going outside looking for somebody or whatever, or
Mm-hmm.
or going upstairs when they actually was downstairs. Make that plan so everybody can be together and know where everybody is if a tornado do hit. Make that plan, because you don't want one person hiding under the bed when you're supposed to be this spot. Well, hiding under the bed is good because it will protect anything from coming down, but you want a central location if at all possible. And if not, hide under the bed, do what you need to do, stay away from the windows and all of that kind of stuff. But have those emergency numbers available, just in case you're sick or your leg cut off. They could call your husband if he's at work, or call mama or whoever. Have that emergency list available so somebody can call whoever needs to be called. Okay.
Yeah.
Um.
And
Again.
also, you know, they encourage you to minimize phone calls during this type of emergency. Uh, it's better to text and even social media, believe it or not, because the phone lines get jammed because all your
Mhm.
emergency operations are going through those, whether it be 911s, all this type stuff. So and then you have to, after the tornado, you have to be prepared because there's certain people in certain neighborhoods, it might be days before you can get emergency help. So we have to go back to some of our ready training where we have ourselves prepared bug out bags with different things in them that you might need. It's just a good time with all the stuff that that's going on, that you have a means of survival. I
Yeah.
mean, we're the
Don't
most
forget the
critical.
food.
Yeah, food.
You got to have some
Snacks.
food available.
Yeah, snacks, non-perishable items, water. Uh, there are people that homes have blown away. So now you got to use your survival skills on the outside. Okay, you got to look. Animals are out if they survive.
Mm-hmm.
If a day or two afterwards they hadn't had anything to eat, human flesh looks good. Okay, so we have to have ways of protecting ourselves. You have to have ways of surviving. You have to have ways, because even after the tornado comes, now one good thing about a tornado, they're almost like lightning. If you just went through one, it might not come back, because rarely do you get back-to-back tornadoes within the same day that hit the same area. Okay, once it's gone somewhere else. Okay, those winds get up 200 plus miles an hour, and they just keep rolling. But what the aftermath, you know, if you got medications, you on medications, prescription drugs, and things like that. I mean, we just got to get into a habit of having something quick that you can put together like a bag. If something hit right now, just think about it. What are you going to do? You the only thing I could do right now would be to fall on the floor. Okay. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping, and I'm putting myself in a position where if stuff fell, if the roof caved in, at least there's a sofa and a table that I'm crawling under. So if a beam falls out of the house and pins me down, at least I got a little room where I can function from under, okay? Because you do not, when you can't avoid getting a limb broken or arm broken, but you can to some degree. You don't want to fall under an area that's a lot of potential damage to you. So if you can, I'm looking right now because if a tornado came right now, I got to look and figure out what I'm gonna do. I got to hit the floor and lay flat and
Yeah.
hope that it it keeps going. And you know what? You got to get in a fetal position, like a baby. You know, if you can get in a position where you kind of crunch like this, you protect your head, uh, and you bring your feet close to you. If something falls on you, the likelihood you being crushed is minimized. You learn this in the military, like rolling and falling. If you get into a ball, you're in a better position to protect yourself from debris. Because if stuff, especially close, cover your eyes. You do not want stuff to hit you in the eye, or immobilize you. So those are some things that you can do in a tornado to enhance your surviving capability. And you at the mercy. I'm gonna tell you this. Now I prayed afterwards, but I didn't really have time to say a prayer. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You
Yeah.
in it. I mean, by the time you think it's there, bam. All you can do is react. And some people, if you hadn't practiced, I contribute some of my military experience to knowing what to do in a situation where it's a gunshot or a storm, a flood. If you don't practice staying calm or putting yourself in a position where your response won't cause you more problems than the situation. So that's one reason we have to prepare like we at war. I know people sometimes don't want to hear it, but if you're not preparing, and your family, now if your family lives with you, you got young kids, you got an elderly person that might be bedridden on a walker or something like that, you have to be in a higher thought process of survival because by the grace of God, a lot of times those people are protected. But if you don't have a game plan and you're looking for Aunt Becky, you don't have time to go get her.
Yeah.
Uncle Willie, you ain't gonna have time to go get him. And if you don't have a plan where you say, well, how you gonna check on somebody 2 minutes after the storm? What are you gonna do? How you gonna check on people? If they're not conscious of what to do, you have little kids running around picking up live power lines. You
Yeah.
have, all
Hopefully
this type of
not.
stuff. But that's why you have to prepare.
Yeah.
The survival capabilities to the unprepared is always worse. People
Mm-hmm.
that didn't think it could happen to them or their family.
Yeah. And one of the things you has mentioned, don't make a whole lot of phone calls. There's also a app, I think, on Facebook. So if you've been in bad weather, you could go on there and post, you are okay.
Right,
So
right,
that app is, I've seen it, where you could post, I'm okay. So people won't have to worry about you. Because,
right,
when tornadoes and hurricanes and stuff like that come through, people do get worried and start trying to call you.
right.
So if you have the opportunity to post, I'm okay. You know, um, we want to go over those warning signs again. Um, if you are outside and you see this wind blowing, please go in and protect yourself and lock up. And I know they at one time they were saying open up the windows so the air can go through. You don't
Mm-hmm.
do that. You close those windows because when you're opening up the windows, no, you let that wind come through and pushing everything inside the house around, and it makes the house weaker. Okay, when you're opening up those windows, so keep that windows closed. Stay away from those doors. Okay, that is so important. Get in the middle of the room, if all possible, down low as possible. Okay, again, you're gonna cover up and everything. You're gonna have hail. One of the warning signs is hail outside of no the alarm system. If the city has a siren, take heed to that. Okay.
Right.
If there's bad weather, pay attention because you don't want to all of a sudden tornadoes hitting and you didn't know anything about it. If there's bad weather, cut on the TV or the radio and get an update of what's going on because that is so important right there. But again, uh, rain, wind, hail. If you have this big balls of hail like the size of a golf ball, sometimes it may not be that big, but that hail coming through, that's tornado weather right there. With that
Mm.
hail coming down, sometimes hail actually break the windows of the cars. Be so heavy. So the
Right.
hail, the rolling of the clouds, the wall of clouds, just rolling, 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 and it's approaching with debris in it. That's tornadoes. Want to be away, get away, get in a safe zone with that. It's dark. I have often it's greenish sky looking, and again, like you said, the freight train. Some people be hearing that freight train.
Right. Yeah.
So you want to be conscious of that. And after that, you're gonna have a lot of heavy rain, and that's what it was when we at Callaway Gardens. After all of that wind and stuff, then you had all that heavy rain. And here I am outside in the pavilion under
Right.
a top picnic table. That's where
Wow.
we were. It was a whole bus of people, church people went down there. And we are under a pavilion and we squatting under the picnic table, and that water
Mm.
just coming through, man. It was so fast. And
Wow.
that was after the tornado had hit that we didn't
Right.
see, but
Yeah.
it was there, you know.
Yeah.
So that heavy rain, it'll let you know, and you want to stay away from those trees and thunder and all that kind of stuff. Just be cautious and conscious of bad weather. And another thing that I discovered, tornadoes hit more flat land than it does hills. Okay. So like Mississippi, Oklahoma, and all of those places, a lot of flat
Right.
land. So you get more tornadoes in flat land than you do in the mountains. So that's a plus right there for those who are curious about it.
Yeah.
Because that's why I
Well,
kind of like being up here because Georgia is not exactly flat, versus Mississippi. You got tornadoes coming through there all the time because there's a lot of flat land. You
oh
know,
yeah.
so
Well,
you got
well,
to
you
be,
know,
and also insurance. If you are renting a place, having rental insurance might be a good idea, because if the building get torn up, the apartment people, they're going to take care of the apartment, but they're not going to take care of your content.
right.
Okay. So you might want to get some rentals insurance, that would take care of that just in
Ooh.
case that do happen.
Yeah. The after effects of a tornado, and this is again being prepared. FEMA, uh, the Red Cross. Now, uh, sometimes, like I say, people not able to get in and bring if you don't have supplies. For the people that don't have supplies, you should have. This is especially since COVID. I encourage anybody to have a 3 day supply of food and water, minimum,
Mm-hmm.
off the rip. 3 day supply of all necessities. You should not have to go looking for nothing. Okay, at least for 3 days. You know, you gotta uh, have a heightened level of just awareness, and the more prepared you are, you know, and think about this: you might be good, but after a tornado and after the effects, people looking for cigarettes, people looking for drugs, because when people get depressed, they want to get high and they want to feel good. So all these are things that happen during a disaster. Uh, when you said, uh, just say that within the first couple of hours, you have to do that type of stuff because you do not want vandals. If you got the only house on the street and you survive it, don't think your neighbors and people that's not in your neighborhood can become a threat to you and your family. So you have to be ready for all of that. This is after the tornado. So we have to be realistic and we have to be clear thinking that we got to protect ourselves. And then say after the storm, again, you're in another situation because now you got to start filing claims. If you don't have insurance, like you said, people. I had a place and uh, this was a flood, but the lady that was occupying thought that uh, you know we were covering her, but that just covered the dwelling, the building, and people get caught up in their feelings when these insurance companies don't give you money for whatever it is that's going down. Usually they're going to take care of the property owner, okay? But anybody else could be another situation, and especially if that property is destroyed. You got to look at where you're going to live, where you're going to stay. Sometimes the Red Cross can provide temporary shelter. And FEMA provides temporary shelter. For instance, South Georgia, there were people that had to stay in FEMA, we call them FEMA trailers, for a year, almost 2 years, because they had no means, but they had to put paperwork in place to keep extending because they didn't have nowhere to go. So this just shows you when disasters happen, you can't prepare for everything. But we live in a society now, even without the threat of war, like the Ukraine, even without the threat of COVID-19, pandemic, or pandemonium, you can't just stick around with your head in the sand because look what happens. You got the tornado season, you got hurricane season, you got flood potential. Believe it or not, Atlanta flooded a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. A lot of people out in Cobb, homes had as much as 3-4 feet of water. Okay, and Atlanta is not near a big body of water, but when things start to happen, they can affect us all. So with tornado season, if you're not prepping now, this is the day you need to start. Get your bag, have little things like a flashlight. You have, because at night, power is going to be off. Even if you are in your home, power off for 3 days can affect people. It's a good practice to cut the break off in your house now and prepare to go at least 1 day without power. And then stretch it to 2. There are a lot of people doing this on a regular basis. That's why some people are more prepared when a disaster happens than some people that are watching the soap operas and the reality shows. Because trust me, the reality people, they good. Mm-hmm. But what's your game plan? How are you going to survive for you and your family? And even in your community, you need to know who your neighbors are, good neighbors. Some neighbors, you might not want them around you in a disaster because people start acting up. When you put people that are not used to stuff and used to having their way, they will take advantage of the people. There's a movie that's out, and it deals with a disaster where uh, families in the same neighborhood find out that they got some problems. You got one family that was prepping, and then you got one family that knew this family, and they happened to come in, and they allowed them to come in, but they had to put down some rules. Yeah, something happens like when I rode out the tornado, I went back home because I just looked at the damage, came back the next day. Okay. But in a situation where you can't leave, you might be trapped on your job. You got to be careful about your coworkers, because everybody
Mhm.
cannot handle being around people when there's no more law and order. As women, you have to be prepared. If you don't have a gun, a knife, or something to protect yourself, because people start acting up. You give people about 3 days. 3 days, they start acting up. So, not to put a lot of doom and gloom out there, but it is what it is. Look
Yeah.
what happened in New Orleans after the flood. People went nuts. Not just New Orleans. Look at the fires. There were rich people in California, when they couldn't get the food, water, and shelter, they went spastic, nuts, hurting
Yeah.
each other,
They
all this type of
will.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And one of the other things I want to say, if you are at work, know where you can go to hide, to protect yourself. Again, you're going to stay away from the windows at work. You don't want to get on the elevators and call
ooh,
yourself
no,
hiding because
right,
they could
ooh,
fall. You know,
yeah,
know the escape route just in case that building is hit. Okay,
right,
so that is important as well. And also, if you can invest in a generator, that would be a good idea, you know.
right,
So if the power go out, even when we have winter storms, power go out sometime, uh, generator come in handy, you know.
right.
So we got tornado season, we got snow and winter storm, we got hurricane season. All of that stuff gonna put out power. So a generator would be beneficial.
Oh
If you,
yeah.
if you blessed good enough, you might not ever need it, but your
It's,
neighbor
it's
might.
best it's best to not need it than to have it. But a couple items you got to have real quick: water, food, batteries, flashlight, first aid kits, extra batteries, a whistle, dust mask, plastic bags, morse towels, wrenches, pliers, uh, a map, cell phone backup batteries, a knife, matches. All these things are necessary for your survival. You might have to use the blankets in your house for shelter because
Yeah,
your windows broke out. You know all this stuff, and it might be months before you can get stuff repaired. I had a lady; she had lived in a trailer, and even though the trailer stayed intact, all the windows were broken out.
mm,
Well, not only did she have to worry about humans coming in, she had to worry about animals because they in a different world. Some of these animals been flushed out of the woods into the human population. So we got to look at all this type of stuff, and you have to be able to survive. You got to be able to prepare, and you got to be able to protect yourself from danger.
yeah. And if you are in a area that has been heavily hit by a tornado or just strong winds or whatever, be aware of scammers because
Ooh,
people take that opportunity to take your money, say they're going to fix your roof or cut your trees down. They're
right.
going to get your money and you don't get anything for it. So be cautious of that. Conscious and cautious. you
Yeah,
know,
a
um,
chainsaw, a chainsaw is a good investment because they
yeah,
go up. A little $200 chainsaw can go up to anywhere between 1,500 and 2 grand. And then they get, like you say, you got scammers coming in. People, this is after effects of a particular tornado or any disaster. People take advantage of the people.
yeah.
Okay.
You can get a chainsaw though for $100 and some dollars.
Now But
Yeah.
when it comes when the scalpers come in, they
Oh,
go up on chain. They were selling chainsaws for $1,500
really?
in South Carolina. Yeah, and that was during the hurricane. I forgot that they was these folk. They go nuts. You know, some folk actually prey on people. When I
Mm-hmm.
ain't talking about PRA, I'm talking about PREY. They prey on people when disasters come. So we have to be doing our due diligence. You got to, and especially the elderly. You know, there's a lady. We had to help her get her roof. Contractor came by, roof blew off. They threw a blue tarp up there, and it stayed up there almost a year,
Mm.
and they never put a roof on her.
God gonna get those people who scam people.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna pay the price. They're
Well,
gonna pay for it. But
well,
you
you know
just
how we
have
say
to
something.
be conscious of it.
Yes, but we have to prepare ourselves and pay attention. This is the season. If you're not talking, if you don't have a plan, and your family members don't have a plan, you will be at the mercy of whatever shows up.
Yeah. And if you know elders who've been hit, help them out.
Yeah,
Don't let people scam them. Okay, if somebody's saying something to an elder trying to get their money, if you don't feel good about it, advise them. Don't hesitate and say I don't think that's cool or whatever. Or try to get somebody else to do it or do it yourself if you can. You know, we want to be good neighbors. If your neighbor need help them out. Okay, and it's not all about money. It's about being a good neighbor because you never know when you're gonna need some help. You
right.
never know if your neighbor has a tree over their house, knocked down. Go check on them, even if you never talked to them before. Check to make sure they're okay. You know, because you never know. They might need your help. You might be the one who saved their life.
Yeah,
If they're
but
being there forever.
uh, the majority of people are good and decent. When there
Yeah.
is disasters, I've seen the best come out of human beings. I've seen people look out for their neighbor. I've seen people share food, share resources. So the majority of people are good. I mean, when disasters happen, that's a common ground. You'd be surprised how many people come together, and then how many people volunteer and come out to help. Uh, but at the same time, you want to prepare yourself. And the
Mm-hmm.
only way to prepare yourself is to get ready. And once you get ready, you got to stay ready. And once you stay ready, you put yourself in a position so no matter what happens, yeah, you might take a blow, but at least you can say, I'm okay right now. Go look after my neighbor, or you can help somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. Oh, I just thought about it. I was in New York and a tornado came through.
Mm,
The wind was well. That's four tornadoes I've been in. But the thing
okay.
is, I didn't see that one either. We were outside and the wind started blowing and stuff. We went in the house, and after everything was over, we went back outside. This big old tree had fell. It crossed over
Wow.
the street, so people couldn't even get through.
Mm,
So that was another one. I forgot
right.
about that one. So I've had my share of tornadoes, you know,
Okay.
and it is nothing to play with. Believe me, people lost their lives, with these tornadoes. Lost their life, their livelihood, So be careful. You got to be careful and pay attention. Don't be having a tornado. When I was younger, I know I'm
Mm,
going out. When the hurricane was coming through, they people up there having hurricane parties. You know, you know,
yeah.
me. Look, I am all nervous and stuff. Had to take a nerve pill to go to sleep, and they up having a
Okay.
hurricane party. Cause I know
Oh yeah.
about the hurricanes too. When you living close to the Gulf Coast, that ain't nothing pretty either.
Oh no. It,
It's not.
yeah.
So you got to be careful. Be prayed up and everything. Just plan. Just plan. I know sometimes, regardless as to how much planning you do, things gonna happen. But it's better to be ready than not be ready.
Oh yeah.
Better to plan and be ready than not plan and have a disaster to come through and you all shaken up.
Oh yeah.
So be prepared. Know that this is tornado season, and keep your eyes open. We got a storm coming through now. Well, it'll be here tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
From the east side. No, the west side. From the west
Coming from the
side
west.
coming east.
Right.
So this is the season. Um, that's about it. Our time is up already.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah. So we're gonna see you guys Saturday. Saturday we are having women trivia contest. Reggie and my team gonna beat Reggie team.
May the best team win. I hope y'all
Yeah,
doing your homework. We
yeah.
won't have any mercy.
I'm doing my homework. We're gonna be
Okay.
ready.
All
We're
right.
gonna be ready. So we're
Okay.
doing women trivia Saturday at 8 o'clock. So hopefully everybody would tune in and learn a lot of good stuff about women, because women are powerful,
Woo, woo,
phenomenal.
woo.
I'm gonna get that word right one day. Women are phenomenal, and they've made a lot of history. Even though sometimes they try to put them back because they are women, but then because they are women, they have this powerful brain. Women are so smart.
Mm.
They have excelled and exceeded a lot of expectations. So, that's gonna be it. And don't forget Power Thoughts. You can get that at www.aandkproductions.com. The book it'll help you. Definitely will. It's so I would say it should be a source in everybody's house, for
Mm.
old people and young people. And a lot of women have used this to help raise their kids. Teachers use this book to as part of their curriculum in school, and
Wow.
it's just a good book. It's just a good book. My goal is to save the world. That's my woman power thing. Save the
All right.
world.
Superhero.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to save the world, and I think I could do that at least a couple of people anyway. One book at a
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that is going to be it until next week. You got anything you want to say in closing?
Stay safe, protect yourself. Know the early warning signals for tornadoes in your area, and be safe.
Yep. Be safe until next week. Well, until Saturday. Yeah, we're gonna see you again. Okay, be safe out there. Take care.